Alright, I'm back from the BRB. This part of the stream probably won't be super long since I'm coming back into streaming and everything, so I apologize for that. I'll try to get like an hour reading in, but it's been a long week, and I am physically and mentally and slightly emotionally tired. But I wanted to get a bit because I know it's been probably a few days since we've read Raging Loop. So much so to that I was during the BRB, I was like, I kind of forgot. I was like, what was the exact last thing that we had done? And then I recalled. So it's not all lost, thankfully. So I'll hit a recap here really quick. Basically, the village held their after a round of wolf murdering, they held their meeting, right? And they're like, all right, we're gonna put this to a simple vote. And they voted the old man who cries wolf out. They were like, okay, we can't trust him, and also he's like old and senile, basically, probably not a lot of help for us. We should vote him out. Not only is he potentially the wolf, but like I said, it's almost like old school Survivor. We need to keep the tribe strong kind of thing for the future challenges. It's like if we just have an old man who's just spouting nonsense, that's not really helpful to our group. Let's just pick him and we'll vote him out kind of thing to be hung, right? So they held their meeting. They voted on him. They voted, I think it was originally a tie, and then they did a revote, I think was the situation, if I'm remembering correctly, and then it got to the old man. And then in a move that I criticized, they were like, all right, the old man, for some reason, they were like, let him get his things or do something, or I forget exactly what the impetus or the reason for it was, but they were like, all right, he's gonna go do a thing, and we'll send Mochi with him just to keep an eye on him so he doesn't, like, I don't know, escape or something bad happen to him. And I was like, that's such a bad idea. And it ended up being a bad idea because then I think the guy who cries wolf, and Mochi ended up being killed, seemingly. Seemingly by the hands of a spiritual or wolf power hands. It seemed like it was like what was it? Was it guns? Guns to them? It was just a murdering, I think, by regular people. I think is what the game was at least trying to lead on. And that, I think we ended probably right around there. Ow! Ow! Alright, and like I said, we'll read, I don't know. I say like an hour. I'm going to try to commit to at least an hour. Maybe a little more. But hopefully not a little less. We got a long weekend here ahead. So we'll definitely, assuming the worst doesn't happen, assuming we definitely get in at least quite a bit more Raging Loop reading in this weekend. You just got to apologize and bear with me as I get back into the swing. Like I said, even taking like 2 or 3 days off in the midst of me having to handle a lot of other shit going on in my life, it then makes it just seem like I'm so like out of practice, and I'm like tired, and I'm like, I don't know how to do anything. All right, here we go. Reading time. I asked Chiemi to call Kinosuke to help carry the corpse, but she insisted on doing it herself. I caved and we began the unpleasant task. Following Takumi-san's example, I removed the door and placed his body on it. Chiemi and I each took an end of the door and lifted it up. He was as heavy as he looked, and I wouldn't have been surprised if this was too much even for 2 men. However, Chiemi lifted her side without letting out a single grunt of exertion. It felt like active rejection of the idea that she might need help. Wait, let me check something real quick. Let me see something. Right. I made the door and placed it on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we're fine. Yeah. So Jamie lifted her side without letting out a single grunt of exertion. Oh, she's strong. Yeah, she's strong. It felt like active rejection. Okay. We slowly began walking. Kinosuke was outside. He was anxious about something. It didn't look like he was waiting for us, so maybe Rikako Uematsu hadn't come out yet. I couldn't afford to stop and chat. Relaxing my arms or lower body. Oh, I get relaxing lower body. Not lowering like the act of lower, but relaxing my arms or lower body could lead to me dropping Takumi-san. I kept walking forward without a single word. Sighing and stopping was our sign that one of us needed to rest. Every time one of us did it, we lowered him to the ground, rubbed our aching hands, adjusted our grips, and resumed walking. Wait. Did I miss, in my recap, did I miss an important... bit? Wait, Takumi died too? Was that the whole thing? Was that the actual end? Is that what the whole thing? Oh no, did I forget in the recap and forget about the bit? Because obviously there was... this is the problem we run into. I'm sorry, if this is your first time doing a visual novel with me, sometimes I'm prone to remember it or forgetting. Is the word I'm looking for. Forgetting like very specific details, even if it's like a couple days, because I'm not reading it back to back. Or days, you know, sometimes a few days, and real life gets in my way. Dreaded real life. Takumi died? Let me check. I'm trying to remember. I thought the last thing I was remembering was just... Oh, and it sucks because you can't go back into the log. I could do the chart, but then we're going backwards if I... You know what I mean? Like, I can't get... You know what would be, like, really dope? Takumi's death. Nightmare. Isolation cell. Sudden change. Feast. Feast 1, 2. You know what? Oh, people are gonna be pissed if I reread a scene. Aren't they? I'm going back. We're going back. I'm going back. And no, the worst part is I'm going back, and I say I only have like an hour to read anyway. Oh, I gotta see exactly the I'd rather not miss something. So I'm gonna go back, get the context of his death here, and we'll be fine. Everyone chill. Don't chill with me, okay? But we arrived at the house as the mysterious girl was on the verge of crying. Why do I not remember the context surrounding Takumi's death? Because I remember Mochi and the old guy. Good morning. What's wrong? Bah. Speak. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you, Haru. Speak normally. You know how to, right? Come on, be more mature. Repeat after me. Good morning. Okay, so what, let me just go over this. So normally, I didn't think, originally I wasn't going to read Raging Loop even like an hour or so after Unbeatable. So the problem is, normally, especially for things like this, before I knew that I was gonna play, like, for, like, most visual novels, I'll usually, like, scrub through my past stream of it just to make sure I'm remembering the past little beats. Spoiler alert. Sometimes, okay, I should say I don't do that actually most of the time, but when I can't recall what was the last thing that was happening, then I'll do that. But I obviously didn't do it this time because I did a BRB, and then I just went right into Raging Loop because I just wanted to read Raging Loop. In the future, if I'm like shaky on exact details of our last reading, for sure I'll be checking out my VODs specifically, see, you know, just scrub through, make sure. Unfortunately, didn't do do that this time, and that's why I'm like, This is hopeless. Haru-chan glared at her while I stayed patient.
リカ子さんは
Where's Rikako-san?
お姉ちゃん
One-chan.
どこ
Yeah, where is she?
出てこない
She hasn't come out.
ここよ、あいつの家。
Her house is right here. It really was. I'd been here yesterday. I knocked and called out to her. There was no response. Haru-chan and I looked at each other and I tried opening the door. Huh? It was locked.
リカ子さん
Rikako-san! Still no response. I'll read fast here. I hesitantly put up my ears against the door. I heard some sort of rustling sound.
多分着替え中か何かだろ
She's probably getting dressed.
じゃあ、
Was he just murdered in the... Was he the... When I talked about the gun things to the other guys, the man who cried wolf and Mochi, was I thinking gun death to this guy? Was I getting that mixed up? Then he really did.
まだわからないまだ清之助しかもしれない
We don't know for sure. Could still be Kiyunosuke. She...
私がどうしたと
What about me? Well, I did expect him to
リ
live.
カ子さんは大丈夫かね
Is Rikako-san well?
あなたはそればっかりですね一応大丈夫そうですよまだ出てきてないですがどうかしたんですか
She's all you care about, isn't she? And yes, she does seem alright. She's not out yet, though. I wonder what's up.
嫌な予感がしてな杞憂ならいいしかしそうなると死んだのは山脇老人か
I had a bad feeling about something. Good to see it was nothing. Does this mean that the one to die was Lady Yamawaki?
タイバーは生きてた。
Taiba was alive.
なんだと
What? Why was he so positive?
はるちゃんはメイコを連れて食堂へ
Strange.
清之助さん手を貸してください
Haru-chan, take Meiko to the dining hall. Kinosuke-san, help me out. He tried to say something, but decided against it. He must have realized what happened to the one who'd usually be given these annoying jobs. As expected, the door to his house was unlocked, and the reek of fresh blood was so strong you could smell it outside. I thought this was enough to help to prepare me, but once I saw the source, it couldn't help. Okay, I think I'm good now. I think that's the context I needed. I just want to. Okay, we're gonna skip to. Okay, there we go. We're good. Okay, so then I auto-skipped to just where we had read. Thank God for auto-skip and then stop when we got to new thing. Okay. We lowered him to the ground, rubbed our aching hands, adjusted our grips, and resumed walking. Great. As we approached the cliff, Chiami's expression grew darker.
匠兄ちゃんは安水で一番年の近いお兄ちゃんだったから。
Takumi Ni-chan was the youngest of the adults. He was like an older brother to me. I wasn't going to ask how that mattered. I didn't see a point in questioning it. I simply nodded, continuing to play the role of audience.
昔はいっぱい遊んでくれたし、怒られた時はかばってくれた。
He played with me a lot and always protected me when the other adults got mad at me.
こんな何も
A
な
great
い
conversationalist.
湿っぽい場所だけど、
There's
匠
no...
兄ちゃんは安水を、ここに住む人を愛してた。
There's nothing good about this humid place, but he loved Yasumizu and the people living here.
そうだねわかるよ
Yeah, I could tell.
まっすぐな人だった。
He was honest to a fault. Yeah.
捨てたくないよ。
I don't want to just throw him away.
ああ当然だと思う僕だってこんなやり方はしたくない
Of course you don't. I don't like this either.
やめるこのやり方にこだわりそうなのは匠さん本人とタイさんくらいしかいないんじゃないの
Should we stop? The only ones who really care about this are Takumi-san himself and Tai-san, right?
しなきゃダメ。
No, we gotta do this.
汚れか
Because of the corruption? Yeah. I continued asking if she was sure, but she didn't change her mind, so we ended up throwing his body into Saranaga. We walked through the graveyard, careful not to trip. We could now see the hanging pine through the mist. Our destination was near. We carefully closed in on the cliff and pushed the door toward it.
さよなら、匠兄ちゃん。
Bye, Takumi Ni-chan. She said that right as I felt the body slide off. It was falling. I'd done this several times now, but it still made me feel empty. It would eventually hit the water, make a splash, and that'd be it. Huh.
水音した？
Did you hear the water?
さあ、
Not sure.
聞き違いか？
Did we both miss it somehow?
あるいは皿長の底が抜けて黄泉の国につながってるのかも。
Or maybe the bottom of Saranaga opened up into a yawning chasm leading to Yomi.
本当にファンタジーだね。
You've got quite the imagination.
霧の向こうに何があるか誰も知らない。誰も証明できない。
No one knows what's beyond the mists. There could be anything out there.
今から降りてみせようか。
Should I go down and take a look?
あなたは帰ってこない。
You won't return. That was how she saw the world.
戻ろう。
Let's go back. We returned to do another investigation of Takumi-san's house, but something strange had happened while we were gone. Kinosuke was still in the same spot, in front of Rikako Uematsu's house, waiting for her without even trying to hide his frustration.
まだ出てこないんですか？
She still hasn't come out?
まったく大丈夫そうと言ったのは君だが、どういう根拠だったのかね。
No. You're the one who said she seemed alright. What made you think that?
音がしたから。
I've heard sounds.
待ってる間にあなた自身で呼んでみればよかったんじゃないですか？
Why didn't you call out to her yourself instead of just waiting?
そんなぶしつけなことができるか。
As if I could do something so rude.
なんでそんなにリカ子さんにだけ気を使ってるんです？野里は上松より格上でしょうに。
Why is she the only one you're nice to? Masato is above Uematsu, isn't it? That was an interesting bit of info. I didn't realize that the head families had a hierarchy.
女性に気を使うのは当然だろう。
It's only natural to be considerate of women.
私も女性なんですけど。
I'm a woman too, though.
あえて敵外心をむき出しにしてくる相手に気を使う必要があるのかね。え？
I don't see a reason to be considerate of someone so hostile toward me. Do you?
勘弁してくださいよ。ついさっきそこで死人が出たんですよ。
Please stop. We just finished putting a body to rest. That was probably one of the reasons why they were so agitated, but my comment was enough to shut them up.
とはいえ心配ですね。中で病気やら怪我やらしてたら大変だ。最悪踏み込みましょう。
Though, yes, I'm worried too. She might need help if she's sick or injured. We may have no choice but to barge in.
そんなぶしつけな。
How improper. Was he the type of guy to report someone who undressed a girl to give her proper first aid? What was up with... Whoa. What was up with this guy's priorities?
上松さん、上松里香子さん。
Uematsu-san! Rikako Uematsu-san! I bashed the door almost violently. I heard the sound of rustling clothes. Had she collapsed or something?
上松さん、戸を開けますよ。
Uematsu-san! I'm opening the door! No answer again. Only sounds. Was it really Rikako Uematsu in there?
戸を破ります。
Let's break it down. Sorry. Chiemi nodded, while Kinosuke gave a disgruntled sigh. Break it down now. The door was made from thin plywood and a wooden frame. A solid impact would break through. I looked around and saw a few aged farming tools lying against some houses. The old wooden hoe and mallet were too rotten to work here, but the old axe looked just right.
せーの。
1, 2. I lifted the axe and started counting, but had to stop midway. There was a sound of clattering. Oh, the door suddenly moved. Huh? Surprised, I jumped backwards and glanced at the other two. They were just as shocked, if not frightened.
何なの？
Ooh, what's that?
何ってリカ子さんだろ。
What do you mean? It has to be Rikako-san.
上松さん。
Uematsu-san! There was no response at first, but a few seconds later the door shook again. A moment later, it fell silent once more. Uh-oh. Had she collapsed on the door? If she wasn't well and was lying next to the door, breaking it open was dangerous. I put the axe down and walked up to the door again. The moment I approached it, I heard a clicking sound. I didn't have time to question what had happened before it creaked open. There was a gap of about 20 centimeters. It was pitch black inside. And there was a face all covered in blood. No! Whoa! Okay, this was unexpected. The game throws like the first like big unexpected thing at me, you know? Like, okay, something happened. It sunk back into the darkness the very next moment, but it was soon replaced by an inhuman scream and an arm that snaked out and grabbed for my neck. The grip had inhuman strength behind it. I ignored Chiami's and Kinosuke as she screams and tried to pry myself free. My throat was on the verge of crushing. Jesus, the groans continued ceaselessly. The nails dug into my neck and I was being dragged inside. Help! Are they not fucking doing something for me? How the hell was she so strong? This arm clearly belonged to Rikako Uematsu, so why? Help me! My words got them out of their stupor and they ran up to me. As panic and lack of oxygen dimmed my vision, they grabbed, bashed, and tugged at the arm that was holding on to me. Damn it. Hey, let go. Just one finger. I don't know how long it took, but when I was eventually freed, Chiami swiftly slammed the door shut. Bring something I can use to bar the door. Like what? Just shove the axe in it. Sitting on the ground in shock, I simply stared at their exchange. I could still barely breathe, my vision was hazy and I couldn't think clearly. Something inside was trying to get the door open and possibly escape. What it was, though, I had no idea. What had happened to Rikako Uematsu? How about this? Oh. How about this? Nasato-san, hold it shut. I'll bring the others and we'll barricade it. Haruaki-san, are you alright? Can you stand? No, my fucking neck meat got grabbed at. Don't you just hate when that happens? Yeah. Actions were more important than words here. Stealing my resolve, I rose to my feet. We gathered everyone who could still move and sealed off Rikako Uematsu's door and windows with planks, nails, large farming tools, and whatever else we could find. The small house was basically a pile of flimsy barricades now. Everyone was tired from all the work and sat down to rest. What's the point of doing this, though? Someone asked. We could still hear groans and crashing sounds from the inside. No one answered the question, but we all understood that letting that thing out would be a mistake. But what exactly was it, anyway? Yomibito. Yomibito! That seemed like an answer. Of some sort, anyway. What do you mean? Corrupted folk that come from Yomi. You know, don't you? Has to be a Yomibito, that. That's not what I mean. Yomibito are the wolves, right? They came back to life because of their grudge over being killed during the feast. It's not always like that, Haru-chan. Yasumitsu has always been menaced by Yomibito. Or maybe this is the corruption. Uematsu-sama might have broken an important law. That can't be. Protecting the laws is the role of the purifying spider family. But that might be it. She touched too much of the corruption. But that's... She might have come to Yasumitsu to keep at least a bit of the Yomi's corruption away. How many Yomibito will we have now?
地獄を見る前に行けてよかったやもしれんね。
Takumi was a good boy. Maybe it's a good thing he died before seeing hell.
ナムシない大権現、ナムシない大権現。
Oh, I thought she would have kept going. Thus I offer homage to Shinai the Almighty, so peace may come to pass. Thus I offer homage to Shinai the Almighty, so peace may come to pass. A silent prayer. Her eyes were teary and her shoulders were shaking.
待て。じゃあ、リカコさんはもう。
Wait, then Rikako-san is...
読み人はくくらねばならん。
Yomibito must be hanged. That didn't sit right with me. The rule was that breaking the laws meant getting the corruption, and getting the corruption meant getting slaughtered, right? It was the first time I'd heard that it was possible to do something about the corruption and that she'd die because of that. Logic had little ground here, so the people were gradually losing their minds. They were being pushed closer to death. It was like this was a supernatural phenomenon.
皆さん、食事にしませんか?
Is anyone hungry?
私はもう落ち着きましたから。
I don't like her vibes right now.
他のことは皆さんが落ち着いてから。
Certified her vibes are off. I've already calmed down, so we can do the rest after you've calmed down as well. It was a very attractive suggestion. As we all turned away and returned to the dining hall, I felt like Rikako Uematsu let out a groan even more inhumanly loud than any of those before. Once we arrived, the place was dominated by a heavy silence. There were sounds coming from the kitchen. A kitchen knife rhythmically hit the cutting board as Kaori-san prepared the food. Tai-san was sitting away from everyone desperately yet fluently chanting a sutra. Combined with the kitchen sounds, it had a mind-numbing effect. Everyone else was simply falling into a torpor, staring silently into space. Torpor? Torpor. Even I, the sanest person in the room, wanted to simply let my mind shut down and stop thinking. Of course, our main protagonist would be like, I'm the most normal one here. It's everyone else that's crazy. Ha ha ha, I'm not crazy. This is very funny. Everyone always thinks they're the most sane in a room, right? That wouldn't stop me from trying, though. Rather than trying to evaluate the details, I decided to return to square one and summarize the current situation. Thank you. I need a summary, please. Takumi-san was dead. That left me, Chiemi, the two Oribes, Kiyonosuke-shi, Tai Yamawakishi, Meiko, Rikako Uematsu, and Haru Makishima, a total of 9. Right. Rikako Uematsu didn't want to say she'd become a Yomobito or something, but it was clear that she was in a condition that left her functionally useless. Hey, maybe she's just having a rough day, you know? Give her the benefit of the doubt. Let her out of the thing. Normally, the right thing to do here would be to take her to a hospital, but instead they were going to discuss killing her. Probably have to remind them of the sound course of action. Whatever the case, if you ignored Rikako Uematsu and I, only 7 people were participating in the feast. With Takumi-san's death, we would never know what the snake found out about Haru Makishima. Right. Exactly. That was the point. So he dies. He said he had the snake power, so the power goes with him. And we don't know, yeah, because he's dead, we don't know he would research Haru like he said he was going to. So then you could look at it and be like, maybe that was incentive for Haru to kill him if she didn't want her identity to become out, assuming he was telling the truth and he researched her. Truth being that he had the snake powers, right? So now do people point at Haru? I don't know. Therefore, the only confirmed people were Kiyonosuke-shi, a human, and Meiko, a monkey. See, again, this is flawed logic because And I don't know how clever the game is going to be about this, but even this, him saying that the only confirmed people is Kinosuke being a human, that's not necessarily true. We don't know that for a fact. And we also technically can't even confirm, right, that Meiko was a monkey, because they could be lying too. But more importantly, we could know that they were lying about him being a snake, the guy who died, and then him researching and seeing that he was a human, because they could both be wolves and be cahoots. But whatever. For right now, he is trying to convince us, the reader, the game, and our narrator, our protag here, is trying to convince us, whether it's accurate or not, that those are the only things we know. Unless I'm missing something. But there is a deeper layer that could be present. I just don't know. I genuinely don't know how... It's like that thing where I don't know how far in advance does the game want me to think about these kinds of things. You know what I mean? Or is it really treating it with kid gloves? Hey, we told you and we confirmed basically this thing, so you just trust us, bro, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know. And personally, I thought I could trust Chiemi, so that made 3. Oh, okay. This is flawed already. Never mind. This guy sucks. Also, I really have a boner for this girl, so fucking... She's good with me. I trust her implicitly. With my life. She still owes me that bike ride. He's thinking with his dong and not his brain. Whatever his brain... Alright, sorry about all that. Okay, that left 4 others. This was bad. I wondered if Chiemi understood that. I had to talk to her in private.
ねえ、お姉ちゃんは?
Matt, where's Oni-chan? We kept Meiko away from all that had happened this morning, so she was still in the dark about Rikako-san. Oh, we gotta make up a lie.
お姉さんはちょっと具合が悪いんだ。静かにしといてあげて。
She's not feeling too good. Leave her in peace.
ねえ、お外行っていい?
Okay. Hey, can I go outside?
危険じゃないかね。
Isn't it dangerous?
私見とくよ。すぐそこなら危なくもないでしょ。
I'll look after her. She'll be safe if she stays close. The 2 left.
安永、ちょっと。
Yasunaga.
何かな?
What?
ちょっと取ってきてほしいものがね。
There's something I want you to fetch.
手洗いを借りる。
I'm going to use the bathroom. More and more people left. They probably didn't feel comfortable standing up until now. Tai-san just continued chanting, though. It was like she lived in another world. Besides her, all that was left was... fucking sunshine and flowers. Haru-chan. The way she constantly shifted in her seat made it clear she felt uncomfortable.
匠さんのことは
I
残念なん
wonder
だね。
if she feels uncomfortable. If she feels uncomfortable, I wonder if she feels uncomfortable because she knows that petite people are probably gonna, or could potentially point at her for being shady because the guy who was researching her last round died. Does she already see the painting on the wall, or the, you know, the writing on the wall and being like, oh no, people are gonna think it's me? Sorry about Takumi-san. I tried talking to her.
ええ、知恵姉もずっと頼ってたし。
Yeah, Shani always relied on him.
植松里香子さんは
What about Rikako Umatsu-san?
私、あの人苦手よ。気味悪いもの。
I didn't like her. She creeped me out.
ちえみちゃんは平気そうだったけど
Chiemi-chan seemed fine with her, though.
知恵姉は強いもん。
That's because she's strong.
彼女植松さんがこっちへ来たのっていつ頃のこと
When did Uematsu-san arrive here?
2年か3年前。だいぶ前よ。
2 or 3 years ago? Not recently, at least. That seemed like plenty of time to get to know a person if you asked me. Or maybe not. Yasumisu's people have been suffering at the hands of the village heads for generations. Of course, they couldn't just accept her.
彼女は長者だというが、植松家というのは一体どういう家なんだ？
I hear she's one of the village heads, but what kind of family are the Uematsu anyway?
何が聞きたいのよ。よそ者はおとなしくしてろって言われるの何度目ですか？
What do you even want to know? How many times do we have to tell you that you're an outsider and should just stay out of all this?
ああ、
Okay.
ごめん。
Sorry.
これは無神経だった。じゃあ別の話にしよう。それはいい？
Oh, sorry. That was insensitive of me. Let's talk about something else then, alright?
別にいいけど。
Fine. I looked around. As I saw Yasunaga-kun walk upstairs, I lowered my voice and asked,
君にとって、モッチーはどんな存在だったんだ？
What was Mochi to you?
なんで聞くの？
Why are you asking?
お葬式代わりだよ。
To make up for his lack of funeral.
え？
Huh?
お葬式では、亡くなった人のことを話すだろう。死者の思い出を話すことは、霊魂の供養になるらしいよ。
In funerals, you talk about the people who passed away, right? I remember hearing that gives their souls peace.
なんか意外。
This is unexpected.
何が？
What is?
もっと血も涙もない人だと思ってたから、供養とかそんなの言い出すって思わなかった。
I thought you were cold and heartless. I didn't think I'd hear something about peace in the afterlife from you. That was just rude.
モッチーは野里の子だっ
My
たけど、
feelings are hurt.
選ぶった感じじゃ全然なかった。
Mochi was a Nosato, but he never acted like he was better than anyone.
すっごく変だったし、知恵姉と同じくらいいろんな問題を起こしてたけど、人を傷つけることはしなかったし。
He was weird and as much a troublemaker as Chiani, but he never hurt anyone.
みんなはモッチーのこと頭おかしいって言ってたけど、私はそうは思わない。
Everyone said he wasn't right in the head, but I didn't think so.
とっても面白い人。多分テレビとかに出て大活躍するようなのが向いてたと思うわ。
He was really funny. I think he would have been really popular if he appeared on TV.
一つ上だったけど、ほとんど同い年の友達みたいに接してくれたし。
He was 1 year older than me, but he treated me like someone his own age.
楽しかったわよ、すごく。
I always had tons of fun with him. Wait, Mochi is 1 year older than her? That I didn't like misread. I don't know. Visually, I guess for some reason I just thought he would be younger. But maybe I'm thinking Haru is older than
兄ちゃんも
whatever.
すごく仲良かったし。
Maybe it's just the personality of Mochi made me think he was young. He's got a young personality. He got along really well with Nii-chan too.
そんなに？
He did?
うん。いつも一緒にいたし、学校でもヒーローみたいな二人組だったよ。
Yeah, they were always together, and they were like a pair of heroes in school.
時々横にいて寂しくなるくらい仲良かった。
They got along so well that I sometimes felt lonely with them. Her visage dimmed. I felt like she was easier to understand than most. If Mochi had really liked her, it must have been a tough love. She hadn't even looked at him in that regard, and being with Yasunaga-kun even made him a target of her jealousy.
でも、彼はもういない。安永君は辛いだろうな。
But he's gone now. Yasunaga-kun must feel terrible.
うん。
Yeah,
彼を手伝ってあげたら？
why not help him out? Yasunaga-kun was going up the stairs again. I gestured at him with my chin.
え？
Huh?
なんかお手伝い中っぽいし、ちえみちゃんは外だし。
He's doing something for his mom and Chami-chan's outside.
君はモッチーの代わりにはなれないかもしれないし、そこに立つべきはちえみちゃんなのかもしれないが。
I don't think you can replace Mochi, and Chami-chan's probably the best person for the job.
最後に決めるのは彼らだとして、それまでにしてあげたいことを我慢する必要はないんじゃないか？
But even if they are the ones who will make the final decision, there's no reason to hold yourself back in the meantime, right?
助けになりたいとは思うんだろ？
You want to help him out, or you want to help him, don't you?
うん。
Yeah.
あなたも
You too?
まあ、彼女には一宿一飯以上の恩があるからね。
Well, Chami gave me way more than just a meal and a place to stay.
下心がないとは言わないが、それ以上に彼女を支えたい。
I won't say I don't have any ulterior motives, but more than that, I just want to support her.
彼女は僕には見えないものに随分苦しんでいるみたいだから。
She seems to be suffering at the hands of things I can't even comprehend.
やっぱりあなたのこと誤解してたかも。
Yeah, I think I misunderstood you.
仕方ないよ。行くのかい？
I can't blame you. Are you going?
うん。昨日のこと謝らなきゃだし。
Yeah, I still need to apologize for yesterday.
じゃあ僕も外へ。
Then I'll go outside too. We stood up at the same time. Though Haru-chan was always on edge, deep inside she was a really honest girl. I worried that she'd fall victim to some scumbag like me down the road. Some scumbag like me. At least he's the self-realization is good. Oh.
何？
What?
やっぱりあなたは逃げた方が。
Maybe you should really run away.
いや、なんでもない。
Never mind. Forget I said anything. What have I said from like day one? This should just run away. Our main guy here. Why is he sticking around? Fucking just try. Just try. She cut herself short and hurried upstairs. Apparently, I'd gained some of her trust, but it didn't look like I could get anything more useful than that bit of advice. Unlike the other inhabitants, she just believed that escape was possible. That was why she tried to do it yesterday. That might have been the extent of it.
それで誰が怪しいと思う？
So, who do you suspect? Who do you suspect?
はるちゃんと安永くん。
Haru-chan and Yasunaga-kun. I walked up to Chami, who was looking after Meiko, and we started a conversation.
はるちゃんはともかく、ヤスくんなの？
I can understand Haru-chan, but Yasu-kun?
容疑者は実質4人。タエさんとカオリさん、そしてその2人だ。
We have 4 suspects. Tai-san, Kaori-san, and them.
このうち昨日モッチーらが死んだ時に外出していたのは彼一人。
He was the only one out of those who was outside when Mochi died yesterday.
さらに狼の狡猾さを考えれば彼以外に考えづらい。
And considering how cunning the wolves are, I can't imagine it being anyone but him.
ずる賢いってこと？
He's that devious?
うん。
Yeah.
そうなの？
Really?
今日なぜ匠さんは死んだ？
She doesn't sound very convinced. Why did Takumi-san die today?
え、なぜって狼に殺されたから。
Huh? What do you mean? He was obviously killed by the wolves.
それを聞きたいんじゃない。
That's not what I'm asking.
一体何が？
Huh?
もしかしてこういうこと？
Huh? What do you mean? Oh, I think I get it.
雲に守られなかったから。
Because the spider didn't protect him.
正解。おそらくもう雲は死んでる。
Right. The spider's probably already dead.
え、
Huh? Wait.
蛇である匠さんは普通に考えれば初日確かに雲に守られたはずだ。
When you think about it, on the first day, Takumi-san was protected by the spider. See, I get that that's logically that makes a lot of sense. But, and maybe this is just a me thing, but like, cause if this was happening in like, assume this is some weird universe where this is like really happening and I'm in Chami's place and he's having this conversation with me. If he told me on the first day, when you think about it on the first day, Takumi-san was protected by the spider. He doesn't know that for fact. He doesn't know that 100%. I would immediately stop him and be like, hey, you're throwing out a hypothetical. You can maybe make an assumption. You can assume, but let's not make an ass out of you and me. And let's not say was protected, but I think, even throw out I think, or is likely, because he doesn't know. He doesn't know 100%. He's not even there. He's not even in the feast meetings. He's just being like, oh, it would make sense if he was protected by the spider the first round. But you can't guarantee that in a social game. a deduction game like that was exactly what happened. He just thinks. The wolf could have attacked someone else, and then the spider could have attempted to protect someone else. For all they know, could have protected themselves. They could have done a whole myriad of things. And he's like, oh, when you think about it, this thing definitely happened. And it's like, well, you don't know. I don't know what about it bothers me, but like the story is presenting him as like an actual like strategist of the game. And then he talks in definitives that aren't definitive. And I think for someone like me, who is very particular about that kind of stuff, it then bothers me. I'm like, this fucking guy, you don't know. That's what bothers me, I think, the most. I'm trying to diagnose why it bothers me, but I think that's what it is. Whatever. I digress. Continue, Haru. And yesterday, no one actually said that the spider should protect someone else, right? Yeah.
ということは、雲は引き続き重要度の高い匠さんを守ったと考えるべきだ。雲が生きてたら。
That means that the spider once again protected Takumi-san. He's way too valuable. At least that's what should have happened if the spider was still alive.
それはそうか。
Like I play a game of Werewolf with someone, and that someone's doled the protecting kind of role, and then they try to like outsmart everyone. They'll try to do anything. I think him being like, oh, of course, if they're alive, they would protect him because he's too valuable. Like, of course that would happen. It's like, not if they ultimately wanted to try to save everyone that they could. So then you try to play the mind game on the wolf. The wolf is like, all right, they're going to protect the snake. I'm going to attack someone else. And then the fucking spider goes ahead of them, tries to one-up them and be like, okay, I'm going to protect a random person. Whatever. Well, that's true. I'll just read. Everyone's pointing at their screen, just being like, just read. Since the feast started, the ones who died before Takumi-san were Kanzo-san, Yoshitsugu-kun, Mochi, and the old man who cried wolf.
この4人の中に雲がいて、なおかつそれを狼は見抜き、殺して、その上で匠さんを始末した。
One of these four was the spider. The wolves realized this, killed him, and then went for Takumi-san. Like, my thing is, even if he's correct in all these assumptions, it would still bother me because he's talking so definitively. That's the point I want to make.
そうとしか考えられない。
That's the only logical explanation.
それは考えすぎじゃない？ 4人も死んだからそろそろ雲もいないだろうってことかも。
Huh? Aren't you overthinking it? What if they just assumed the spider was gone because 4 people died?
楽天的に考えればそうだね。しかし相手が本当に賢いやつだったら、その油断が最後の致命傷になる。
That's the optimistic take. But if we're actually dealing with someone clever, underestimating them would be a fatal mistake.
でもどうやって雲を見抜けるって？
But how'd they find out who the spider is?
声が大きい。
You're too loud.
なんでもないよ。
I'm here.
メイコちゃん。
It's nothing, Meiko-chan. Meh. She resumed scribbling on the ground. She was completely absorbed in it for some reason.
雲については、もしかしたら見抜けた可能性があったかもしれない。
I think it's likely that the wolves guessed who was the spider.
それってどうやって？
But how?
初日、肝臓さんが安永くんに喋らせてから最終決定をさせたって言ってただろ？
You told me that on the first day, Kanzo-san let Yasunaga-kun talk for most of the feast and only made the final decision, right?
僕の見立てでは、彼はもっと率先して動くタイプだし、初日は誰も殺さないという判断を下しそうにもない。
He looked like a more proactive type to me. I doubt he'd agree to not hang anyone on the first day.
まあ、そう言われたらそうかも。でも、それがどうしたの？
Well, that's true, but what about it?
彼が喋って決定が行われれば、場に与える影響はとてつもなく大きい。そしておそらく、決断はある程度正しい。
If he'd spoken up and taken the initiative, he could have easily controlled the situation. and most of his decisions would have been good calls.
だから狼に狙われやすい。こう僕らは考えたよね。
That was why he was such a good target for the wolves. That's what we thought, right?
そうだけど、同じ時にヤス君も狙われやすいって話したじゃん。
That's true, but we also thought the same about Yasukun.
逆を返せば、自分が狼なら、狼に狙われるリスクはないわけだ。
On the other hand, if you're a wolf, you have no chance of becoming a target for the wolves.
それよりも、大事なことを黙っていて不自然がられる方が危ない。だから、当たり障りのない情報は出す。
It's more dangerous for them to not say anything important and look suspicious. Giving away harmless info for one is way better.
もしそうなら、とても賢い選択だ。そうは思わない？
That's a clever thing to do, don't you think?
でも、肝臓じいちゃんがそんなに喋らなかったって話とどうつながるの？
But how's that related to Kanzo Ji-chan keeping his silence?
これから言うのは完全に憶測だけど、
Well, this is all just speculation.
肝臓さ
Yeah,
ん
I
が
know
動かなかった
Haru.
のは、権威を発揮して狼に目をつけられるのを防ぐため。
But I think he kept quiet to avoid calling attention to himself so the wolves wouldn't target him.
なぜその必要があったか。彼が自身の生存が全員の生存にとって必要だと判断したから。
Why would he do that? Because he felt that his survival was intrinsically linked to that of the others.
なぜなら、
Because
まさか、カゴ持ちだったから？
he had a guardian?
そうだ。それもおそらく、雲。
I mean, it's not a bad line of thinking. For sure. For sure. And it's taking not only the game part, but the social part, right? His social role in the village being like, hey, I'm an important role, and I know I potentially maybe has the spider role. I gotta be careful that I don't draw a ton of attention to myself, right? It makes sense. It's a good line of thinking. I'm just saying, whatever. Okay, yeah, and it was probably the spider.
どうしてそこまで言えるの？
Why are you so confident? She's asking the questions I'm asking.
雲は正体がバレた時のリスクが最も大きいカゴだ。なぜなら自分を守れないからね。
The spider's the most vulnerable participant in the feast. After all, the one person they can't protect is themselves.
それでいて、正体がバレない限り、狼に対して一夜分無駄にさせられる可能性がある。
But as long as his identity was hidden, he had the possibility of making the wolves waste a night.
だから彼は極力目立たないように振る舞おうとした。しかしそれが逆に狼の注意を引いたんだ。
That was probably why he tried not to stand out, but it worked against him and attracted the wolves' attention.
あの人が黙ってるなんて、よほどの加護を持っているに違いない、とね。
He, of all people, is quiet. He must have an amazing guardian and all that.
それで狼は彼をまんまと初日に仕留めることに成功し、丸裸になった匠さんを翌日に片付けた。
That led to the wolves taking him out on the first day, and then taking out Takumi-san, now defenseless, on the second.
憶測だってのは分かってるけど、なんとなくそうだって気もする。
Oh, she got convinced. I know that's just speculation, but I kind of feel like you're right.
もしそこまで敵が意図的だったとすると、現状起きている異常事態も、狼のショートカット戦術と考えた方がいい。
If even that was planned by the enemies, it's best to assume that the anomalies, too, have all been shortcuts for the wolves.
どういうこと？
What do you mean?
ルール外で人が死にすぎている。吉次君、モッチ、狼じじいし、そしてほぼ死人扱いの植松里香子。
Too many people died outside the rules. Yoshitsugu-kun, Mochi, the old wolf guy, and Rikako Uematsu. She's effectively dead now.
狼にとっては、予定外の死人が出ることは歓迎すべき。宴の回数が減れば、くくられる危険が減るから。
To the wolves, unplanned deaths are a good thing. The less feasts they have to survive, the lower the chance they'll be hanged.
だから意図的に人が死ぬように仕向けているとしたら。
Then what if they planned for those people to die?
話はわかるけど、どうやって？
I see your point, but how could they pull it off?
吉次君については、例えば夜に出歩くように仕向けて汚れに追いやった。
They could tell Yoshitsugu-kun to walk around outside at night, basically sending him to the corruption.
モッチーと狼じじい氏については動機まではわからないが、
I don't know the motive behind Mochi and the wolf guy's deaths.
植松里香子に彼らを殺させたとすれば辻褄が合う。
But it all makes sense if they were killed by Rikaku Uematsu.
え？
What?
タエさんは植松家の役割に絡めて汚れの原因を語っていたが、もっと筋の通った説がある。
Tai-san talked about the Uematsu's role and thought she fell to the corruption because of it, but there's a more reasonable explanation.
植松里香子が2人を殺したとすれば、1日1人しか殺せない宴のルールに抵触し、汚れの対象となるんだ。
If she killed the two, she'd have broken the feast's rules of one person per day and become a target of the corruption. I put aside the idea that there were apparently two types of corruption, slaughter and madness.
でもそんなの無理でしょ。彼女あんな服着てるんだよ。着替える暇なんてないじゃん。
But how? Did you see the clothes she wears? She wouldn't have the time to change.
それに男2人相手に彼女が挑んで勝てるわけないってば。
And there's no way she could have won against two men, right?
じゃあこういうのは、モッチーと狼じじい氏、どちらかがどちらかを殺し、残った方を彼女が殺した。
Then how about this? Mochi or the wolf guy killed the other, and the one who survived was killed by her.
2人目の血を流したことで、彼女は汚れの対象になる。
She became the target of the corruption for drawing the blood of a second person in one day.
服についてはわからないが、何か割烹着でも羽織ればいけるかもしれない。検証するまで不可能とは言えない。
I don't know about the clothes, but it could be solved by a large apron or something. Can't say it's impossible until we verify it. Ah, yes, the old large apron trick.
それはでも一人だって相手は男で。
But even a single guy sounds like too much for her.
片方は何歳かもわからない老人だしな。あるいは殺し合って互いに弱ってたかも。
One of them was senile, though. Or maybe they were weakened from trying to kill each other.
殺
Kill?
そんな、なんでそんなこと考えられるの？
What? How could you think something like that?
だから全部憶測だ。動機だって不明。しかし話の筋は通っている。
Again, it's all just speculation. I don't even know the motive, but it does make sense. Also, I'm going back because as I've been reading, I've been trying to remember why it was I forgot about Takumi dying. Takumi Moro. I think it was just because I think our last stream was almost 4 hours, and I remembered like the beginning part, yeah, obviously the first chunk, and then like I think we just got towards the end, obviously it seems, of the Takumi's death happening, and like I obviously will remember the bigger chunk part first, or only, and then like it's just. Plus, I think the death of Mochi and the old wolf guy was more like, I don't want to say more impactful, but more memorable, just because one of them was already sentenced to be hung, and then the Mochi was just sad. The Mochi death. Did I read this again? It's all just speculation. I don't even know the motive, but it does make sense.
じゃあそれがどうして狼の陰謀につながるっていうの？
But how is that related to the wolf's conspiracy?
動機の話になるとわからないけど、弱みを握ったとか殺すように仕向ける方法はあるんじゃないかな。
I don't know the motive here either, but if they knew her weakness or something, they could have goaded her into killing them.
あるいは彼女自身が狼だとかね。
Or maybe she was a wolf herself. Shammy was at a loss for words. I had no choice but to continue myself.
狼の他の仲間が優位になるように自ら時計の針を進めたって可能性もある。
She could have hastened the whole process to give the other wolf an advantage.
それはないよ。狼は数が減るほど不利じゃん。
I really doubt that. Getting themselves killed would be really bad for the wolves.
確かに狼対人の人数比で言えば1人対2人はうまい交換じゃない。
True. Considering the number of wolves and humans, losing one wolf to take out two humans isn't a good deal.
しかし誰もがその打算を働かせられるとは限らない。
But there's no guarantee that everyone would realize that.
誰もが合理的に動くわけじゃない。非合理的なことは多分起こってるし、その全てを予測することは不可能だ。
Not everyone acts logically. There's lots of illogical stuff going on, and predicting their effects is impossible.
いや、聞きたくない。
No, I don't want to hear that.
でも、諦めるわけにはいかないだろう。
But you can't give up, can you?
もう何も考えたくないよ。
I don't want to think anymore. Me every day. I don't want to think anymore.
ごめん。いろいろ言ってさ。
Sorry, I said too much.
こっちこそごめん。でもちょっときつい。
Don't worry. I'm the one who should be sorry. But yeah, this is a bit hard for me.
僕もこれ以上君たちがこんなものに付き合う必要はないと思う。脱出するなら協力するけど。
I really don't think you people need to keep playing along with this. I'll help you escape if you want.
無理だよ。
We can't.
分かってるんだ。ここに生まれたならここで死ぬしかないんだよ。
I just know that if you're born here, you're fated to die here.
そんなのは単なる思い込みだよ。
That's just a baseless delusion.
神様が見えない人には分からないよ。
Someone who can't see God would never understand. I think that we started getting a lot of this kind of aspect to her last stream, where she keeps bringing up like the presence of God, and like, oh, you can't see God, so you don't know what the hell's going on, kind of thing. It's kind of interesting. I'm slightly intrigued by it, but like, what do you mean, Chiemi?
ああ、わからないな。
What are you going on about? Yeah, I won't. How troubling. It really was troubling. If this was some tabletop fun for the whole family game, I'd have already punched the GM and left. I would have flipped the table, he says. But lives were actually on the line here. Not just my own, but also that of someone I kind of liked. We'd made it this far, yet she was uncooperative. Maybe I was going about this wrong. Maybe if I wanted to save her life, I had to start by saving her from the darkness within. Or maybe from the unidentified supernatural phenomenon that was binding her. Though, that didn't seem like something that could be done in just 3 or 4 days. Still, I'd struggle until the very end. I couldn't participate in the feast myself, so I had no choice but to leave it to Chiemi. I wonder, especially on some of the alternate routes, once we get keys and stuff, I wonder if there's got to be a way for him to participate in the feast, right? He's at some point, he's going to be in the feast. He'll be feasting, right? I didn't say anything more to her. I just chose to believe she'd overcome her inner conflict soon. Meanwhile, Mako's drawing had grown so large it felt like she would get lost in the mist.
Oi!
Hey! I left Chiemi and went to Mako. Bop! Bop! Skill bop! She waved at me. Good thing she was kind of used to me now.
さっきから何を書いてるんだい？
What are you drawing?
こっちがね、お守り。
Those are guardians.
お守り？
Guardians. One drawing showed a warped circle with a line just as strange going through it. But I could see what it was. It looked much like the Higuchi family crest I saw in the dining hall. There were 4 of them, apparently. The others were hard to differentiate. Oh, that whirling drawing was the same as the one in the stone. The symbol of the Yomatsu Okami.
なるほど。新内さんのお守りか。お姉ちゃんに教わったのかい？
I see. Shinai-sama's guardians. Did Oni-chan teach them to you? Yeah.
こっちのは？お守りじゃないね。
What about these? They're not guardians, are they?
家畜。
They're cattle. I certainly wasn't expecting to hear such a vivid word from a girl about 4 years old.
動物かい？
Animals, huh?
これがね、牛。
Yeah. Yeah, this is a cow.
ふんふん。
Wait, let me hear him say that again. Why do you...
ふんふん。
One more time?
ふんふん。
me when I hear her talk about cattle.
これはロバ。
This is a donkey.
おお。
Oh.
こっちはね、豚。
This is a pig.
ああ。
Oh. The ground wasn't the best canvas, and the little girl wasn't the best artist. All I could really tell was that they all had 4 legs.
これは
And this is
私。
me. It had 4 legs, though. Well, whatever. Oh, no. Already? This line right here? He's not thinking about it. This is me. It has 4 legs. She's the wolf, right? This is this immediately screams subtle hint that she was the wolf, and he's not picking up on it. I could be wrong, obviously, but seems I mean, him just being like, oh, fucking kids these days drawing themselves with 4 legs, furries in the making or whatever. I don't know why I added the last part, but
じゃあ
yeah, he
一番
just
でっかい
dismisses
これ
it.
は
Damn. And this, it's bigger than the others.
狼。
A wolf. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know this damn thing. A light chill went down my spine.
なんで狼なの
Huh? Why a wolf?
狼が来るから。
Because the wolf is coming. Huh? The wolf is coming. That was like...
狼が来るから。逃げなきゃいけなくて。
Because the wolf is coming, I had to run far, far away.
待ってくれメコちゃん君は狼を知ってるのか
Hold on, Meiko-chan. You know the wolf?
会ったことない。でも怖いって。
I haven't met him, but I know he's scary.
それはここの狼
Is this the same wolf as we have here?
ね。
But,
蛇とか猿とかは
you know what? Now I just thought about it. Maybe she drew herself with 4 legs because, like, a sheep. Maybe. Maybe I was just assuming way too much. You know now who's the ass out of you and me? Me. I'm the ass. Because I was assuming. Alright. Maybe I'm the clown. Okay, where's the snake and monkey?
知らない。
I don't know.
狼は何をするの
What does the wolf do? What does the wolf say? Oh, wait, that's fox, right? What does the fox say? Simpler times. Remember when that song became like a thing for just one single moment? And the world wasn't burning as bad. I should say as bad it is now. It was probably still. What does the wolf do?
家畜を食べる。
Eat the cattle.
食べる
Eat.
お馬は食べられたって。
Yeah, and they said the horse was eaten. Oh, and she's gone. Apparently this had nothing to do with Fujiyoshi's legend. I had no idea if this was from a picture book or her imagination, but there were barely any links between the stories. Or maybe I was rushing to conclusions.
そのお話は誰に聞いたの
Who told you the story?
本当だよ。
It really happened.
じゃあどこであったことかな
Where then?
遠く。
Far away.
遠くか
Far away, huh?
ずーっと歩いてきたの。
I've been walking for so long. Well, didn't look like I could get any details from her. If far away referred to the land of myth, and it actually had truths regarding Fujiyoshi's legend that weren't told there, or told here. What the hell was I thinking? Land of myth? How stupid. I should just calm down and file under more info that made no sense to me.
そっか頑張ったね
I see. It must have been hard.
お腹すいた。
I'm hungry.
そうだね僕もだ
Same
戻
here.
ろうか
Same here. Let's go back. Okay. As we turned around, I saw Chiemini stand up in the mist again and hesitantly beckon us.
食事ができたそうだ。
Looks like the food's ready. Kinosuke was standing at the entrance to the dining hall wearing a gloomy expression. He was never particularly vigorous, but now his visage was haggard, and he wasn't nearly as arrogant as before. I couldn't blame him. The only person who was friendly, flirtatious? Flirtatious, perhaps? Too, Rikaku Uematsu was in an awful state. Also, despite all he'd said, I just found it funny how that was written. Also, despite all he'd said, he'd actually relied on Takumi-san. They seemed to be close in terms of age, too. And from what I'd heard, he'd never really said anything wrong. The only problem was his insensitive choice of words. The feast was a communication game. Even if you were right about something, it didn't matter much if you couldn't convince anyone.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. Still, he was one of the mere 2 confirmed humans. Treating him badly and making him upset wouldn't help at all. I had to be courteous.
行こうか。
Let's go. Yeah.
お腹減ったね、メイコちゃん。
Hungry, aren't we, Meiko-chan? Shammy had calmed down a bit. I'd already told her my suspicions. I now had hoped she handled the feast well. All that was left now was to get some nutrients to support my hard-working brain. Right? Oh, right?
すいませんね。こんなのしかできなくて。
And we'll have to see what those nutrients are next time. I'll go ahead and save. Again, apologies, it was only an hour, but we do have, like I said earlier at the top of the stream, long weekend ahead here for myself. That's a 3-day weekend. Thankfully, I definitely need it after the week I've had. It's been rough to say the least on me. But streams should be fairly normal this weekend, and plus Monday, except Monday, maybe I find time to do something during the days since I have the day off. I have some chore-like stuff to do tomorrow, just because I've been kind of out of it the last several days. So I kind of need to hustle and bustle. So I probably won't be able to start like super early or anything tomorrow. But definitely, unless, again, something terrible happens to me. I don't know what it could be. Hopefully nothing at this point. But there should be a good, at least one good chunk of more Raging Loop Red sometime this weekend. I also am debating whether or not to start a new game, another new game on the channel. I'm just debating on if I want to pull the trigger on actually purchasing it, is basically, or just do I really want to play it now, or do I want to wait and you know, pick it up at another time? Is basically, I haven't made the decision yet. But there's that. If I don't pick that up, then probably soon, I would say probably sometime this weekend, some new game is going to get added to the channel and in rotation. It'll probably just be more on the shorter side type of game. But yeah, all things considered, probably a bit of Yakuza will happen this weekend as well. Probably able to touch all things. And then, like I said, maybe more unbeatable music streams as well. All things most likely gonna be happening at some point over the 3 days. So again, thank you for bearing with me. Sorry, it was only about an hour of reading, and some of it was me going back and reading parts we already read. I just wanted to check the context surrounding Takumi's death, because that I completely blanked out that he also perished along with. Yeah, I think the old man dying and Mochi dying just much more front of brain for me, so. Alright. Until sometime tomorrow. Definitely not too early, but maybe like afternoon start time? Aroundish, if I can get up early enough and get my acting gear. Have a nice rest of your Friday night. Have a great weekend ahead. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then.